Hello, welcome back. In this video, I'm answering the question, do I file a 1099 miscellaneous or do I file Form 1099 NEC? You may have been going to file Form 1099 this year for contractors or businesses that you paid throughout the year and notice that there's no box 7 for non-employee compensation. Or maybe you're new to business or to this requirement and you're wondering, do I have to file this form? How does it work? We'll be recapping those basic rules in this video, and I'll be showing you the software I recommend and how you can quickly and easily file your forms and send them through email to the companies or contractors that you've paid throughout the year. I'll also be recapping what you can do to make this process easier in the future if you didn't get the information you needed, and how to file if you're missing some information and the steps you should take. Let's jump in. But first, if you're new here, my name's Amanda. You're watching The Business Finance Coach, where I simplify the technicalities of business to help you succeed. So if you're new here, consider subscribing. Now let's jump into Form 1099 Miscellaneous or 1099 NEC. So this is Form 1099 NEC, non-employee compensation. In the past, Form 1099 Miscellaneous has had a bunch of boxes on it. Box 7 was for this non-employee compensation. And because non-employee compensation is so common these days, they've separated non-employee compensation from Form 1099 Miscellaneous. So now if you pay any contractor, anyone who you don't pay as an employee, then they are a contractor. Or any business, if they're not a corporation. All of those people, if you pay them more than $600 during the year, you need to file them Form 1099-NEC. Prior to 2020, it was 1099 Miscellaneous. Now it's Form 1099 NEC, and you can see here it's a very simple form to fill out. We just have one box for the amount you paid them. If you withheld federal income tax and state income tax, you can report that here, but that's very uncommon unless you were in the position where you had to do withholding because the person was a foreigner outside of the country. Now, on the left side of the form, you can see the information for the person you're paying and for yourself. And we're gonna go over how to file this electronically in a moment. But what if you didn't get this information from the person you paid? How do you get that information now? So you should send this person Form W-9, which will allow them to report their information to you. Now, going forward, that's easy. You just don't work with anyone until you give them this form. And once you pass, maybe you want to get started with someone, you let them work a few days, and then once you know you want to continue and you're going to pay them more than $600, make sure to have them complete this form from the start. Payroll softwares like the one I recommend, Gusto, allow you to do all of this through email. Otherwise, you can also give the form to the person in paper and have them fill it out that way. But what about now? You have to file this form by the end of January 31st. But if that doesn't fall on a business day, it gets pushed up to the next day, February 1st deadline to file 1099 NEC for your contractors and business owners that you paid more than $600 during the year. So what do you do to get their information right now? Well, you need to reach out to them at least 3 times and request the information and tell them that you are going to file the 1099 with or without their information. But if you file the 1099 without their information, it is far more likely for you or them to be basically for the IRS to trigger more investigation as to why there isn't the correct information on there. Generally, everyone wants to avoid this scenario of having the IRS take a closer look. So telling the person that you're going to do that is a good approach to encourage them to give you their information. Now, I'm not recommending lying. You do have another option. You cannot file the 1099 and you cannot deduct what you paid them. That's what will happen if you're audited and you didn't file the 1099s and you took a deduction for what you paid that person. It will be disallowed and you'll owe interest and penalties from whenever you filed your return. Okay, so that's enough about the basics. Let's jump into how do you actually file this electronically. This is tax1099.com. I recommend them because they participate in the reciprocal state program through the IRS, which means if your state requires you to file a 1099 and they participate in the program, which a lot of states do, the IRS will automatically submit copies. And I cover this in another video about looking at the state information. And I know they make it really easy to find that information in Tax 1099 as well. So you just come up to the top and click sign up. You can see the pricing tab here. It's a few dollars per form, depending on how many you're filing. It gets cheaper the more you file, and it's very comparative rates. The one thing I'll say is Intuit, who owns TurboTax and QuickBooks, their site for filing 1099s and W-2s and those types of forms actually does not participate in the reciprocal program through the IRS. But the pricing of these companies is all comparable from what I've seen. So once you log in, Tax 1099 looks like this, and you can see we're actually on the dashboard right now. So when you come back in, you'll see a listing of the forms you filed, and they'll have a status. Just like when you file your personal return, the IRS has to accept it, and then you know that it's actually been received. So all you're gonna do is come over by forms, and you can click new form. And here you can see 1099 miscellaneous, 1099 NEC. So you'll just select the NEC form, and this is where you can enter the information. Now, when you use the same software year after year, you can see add payer, add recipient. You can save yourself in here and just select yourself from the drop-down menu. So all you need is name, address, identifying number of the contractor or business that you're paying, and the total amount you paid them, and enter that right here. So for the person we paid, down here we click add recipient, and you can select business or individual. If you select business, you need an EIN. If you select individual, you will enter a social security number and then add. And now they've updated the recipient. So now we can go save and continue, or you could click save and add another form. And once you get all your forms added, you'll have them listed over here. So once you get to this page, you've filled out all your forms, they'll all be listed here. You can click select all. You can select to email the recipient, or you can choose to have them mailed to your recipient. Or you can select neither and print them out yourself. You can select the state filing if you know that that applies, and then click next. It says here that the scheduled date is in the future. It stays as the end of the month, but it goes out now if you choose to email the recipients, which is good. You want to get it out. If they're mailed out, the recipients are going to receive it within 5 to 7 days, of course, which makes sense. Now I'm going to cancel here because this is just a fake person and my name, but fake information. So we're going to go ahead and cancel. After you submit, again, on the dashboard, you'll be able to see your forms and the status. And if it's been submitted, you'll see not submitted, once it's submitted, once it's approved, if you had to resubmit it. And under forms, you can just double check under here, under resubmit IRS rejected forms. If you click here and you have forms showing up, then you need to resubmit those. Okay, that's all for Form 1099 Miscellaneous Non-Employee Compensation, which has now been moved to Form 1099 NEC for non-employee compensation. I hope this video helps you get your forms filed and updated. I give away a free accounting spreadsheet template for small businesses that includes quarterly estimated tax payment calculation and end of year tax totals. So be sure to check it out if you need that. I also have a complete solution if you have a business and you've been struggling with accounting and taxes and finance. All the information is in the description below this video. Again, consider subscribing if you're new here or you want to support me. And while you're here, you might want to check out some other videos, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!